All right, so we made it past the big boom in the Medicare yearly calendar. That is the annual enrollment period, or AEP. No more phone calls, no more famous retired boxers and sports stars and football players and telenovela stars. It is after AEP, but that doesn't mean you cannot make changes to your Medicare plan options if you need to. So today, let's talk about the 5 changes you can still make after the annual election period is over. Hi, I'm Michael, and this is Michael's Medicare. And if you or somebody you know is trying to figure out what is that best Medicare option for them this AEP or really all year round, give us a call at the information down below and we can help them to make those tough Medicare choices in English and Spanish. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. So yes, AEP is over, and perhaps you don't want to hear Medicare ever again until next AEP. And for those folks who are not sure what the AEP is, it is the annual enrollment period, which is that time of the year every single year that folks on Medicare can make changes to their Medicare plans. And by changes, I mostly mean changing the plan that someone is enrolled into or changing the types of plans and going back to original Medicare or Medicare Advantage or Medicare Part D, drug plan, etc., etc. It runs from October 15th through December 7th. And once it's over, then it will not open back up again until the following October. But that doesn't mean that changes cannot be made. So here are 5 Medicare changes that can still be done after the AEP period is over. First and foremost, there is something called the General Election Period, or the GEP. And this time frame runs from January 1st through March 31st every single year, so it's those first 3 months of the year. And one of the things that a Medicare beneficiary can do during this time frame is to change their Medicare health plan, but just once. So technically, it's not a marketing period, so health plans will not be really marketing during that time. But if someone had enrolled in a Medicare health plan, they tried it out in January or February or March, and they didn't like it, well, they will have a one-time opportunity to change to another plan. And whichever plan that person chooses, it will start the first of the following month that they make that choice. But again, it is just once. Once that enrollment option is used, they would need to have another alternate option, of which there are many, to make any more changes in the plan selection for the rest of the year until the next AEP. This next one seems maybe a bit counterintuitive, but also during that GEP period, the same time frame, folks who maybe missed their initial enrollment or had it canceled or got their original Medicare, that is Part A and Part B, they can re-enroll in these programs. And in fact, January through March is the only time of the year that someone can do this. So if they don't have Medicare Part A or Part B, or they need Part A or just Part B, or they need both, the time to do that is going to be January, February, and March. Usually every year we have a lot of clients who came in throughout the year and for one reason or another, they had only Medicare Part A or they had only Medicare Part B, but they didn't have them both. So we'll usually reach out to them during this time and encourage them to enroll during this time so they can put in their enrollment applications and get whichever part of Medicare that they are missing, because it's the only time they can do it. This is important because once somebody does have both Part A and Part B, they can have the additional Medicare Part C options that include extra benefits like dental, vision, transportation, gym memberships, and all of the goodies that go along with that. So the second change that one can make outside of AEP is to actually enroll into Medicare if they missed it or lost it or didn't have all the parts. Another big change that sometimes folks have to make that can be done outside of the AEP period is to choose another doctor or doctors group, often called an IPA. This is usually not a big deal, but less common, although becoming more common nowadays, especially in San Diego. Doctors or doctors networks will shift around at the very end of the year and come in and out of perhaps someone's health plan. That can wreak havoc on somebody who has ongoing care, and now their healthcare path is upturned because the doctor network wasn't getting the reimbursements that they wanted. Again, a very, very real situation. Luckily, it is possible to move around one's doctor or even choose the same doctor but change the doctor's network, which will give the beneficiary access to that new doctor's group at any time throughout the year. But just bear in mind, doctor's changes may usually only be done once every month and are usually not effective till the following month. So you can't do it in the doctor's office and then try to go to your appointment. I guess we don't get out for that one. Now this next one is a change that could be made if someone has what is called a special enrollment period, or an SEP. Now this is because outside of the annual enrollment period, unless somebody meets the specific criteria, and there are many things like having eligibility for Medicaid and Medicare, moving, retiring, states of emergency, and much, much more. But if someone has one of these SEPs, they are still able to make changes throughout the year, even if it is not the AEP season. One important nuance to this is that not all special enrollment periods are created equally, meaning that some of them will allow a person to change every single month throughout the year, like an SEP for folks with dual eligibility, Medicare and Medicaid. But other ones may be just a one-time thing or a one-off, like because of a state of emergency, which could be anything from a hurricane to an earthquake and even major freeways catching on fire and collapsing. Yes, it happened here in Los Angeles. But if someone does meet these SEPs, they can still make plan changes throughout the year. The last change up for today that someone could make outside of the Medicare AEP period is sort of a technical change that can be made, which is the ability to switch from a Medicare Advantage plan, usually an HMO, to a Medigap or Medicare supplement plan that generally have a less rigid doctor structure, but with an additional cost. Now, how this one works is twofold. First, it goes back to that GEP period, January, February, and March, that we talked about in the first point. From those months, someone can go back to original Medicare and choose a Medigap plan. And usually we'll need to add a Medicare Part D plan to that as well. So they have coverage for their prescription drugs. The other option for this is specifically for those folks who are in the first year of their Medicare eligibility, that is the first 12 months, if they had enrolled into something like a Medicare Advantage plan and found out that it was not to their liking or doesn't fit their healthcare needs and would want to move to a Medigap plan, they can do that during the first 12 months and will have a temporary guaranteed issue period, meaning they will not have their Medicare supplement plan rates changed or be denied altogether because of whatever health conditions that they may have. So there you have it. As you can see, just because the Medicare AEP period, the holiday time, is over and we are back into the general milieu of life, it doesn't mean you are stuck and not able to make any changes to your Medicare plan. First, there is the GEP period, which would allow someone to change from one Medicare Advantage plan to another one time in January through March, and the same goes for switching to a Medigap plan during that same time frame from a Medicare Advantage plan. Also, somebody may need to enroll in actual Medicare, which they can do. Also, changing doctors or IPAs if necessary, or even you can do that stuff deep into the year after AEP and after GEP. If someone has a special enrollment period, an SEP, then they can still make plan changes throughout the rest of the year, and that's going to be dependent upon a natural disaster or a freeway on fire or bird flu, I guess. All right, so that's it for today's Michael's Medicare. Any of you or somebody you know has questions about their Medicare, please feel free to reach out to us at the information down below, and me and my team are happy to help them over the phone or in person at one of our many Southern California offices in both English and Espanol. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. So for Michael's Medicare, I'm Michael, hoping that you have a great rest of your day, and goodbye.